Hello and welcome to Astrology Coaching by Anatoly. Today we are going to discuss retrograde Mercury. As you probably know, Mercury will go retrograde from 13th of December 2023 till 1st of January 2024. What is the most significant thing here is that Mercury will be Gandanta. Gandanta in Vedic astrology is a very specific state of a planet, but I'm going to discuss this a little bit later, and it is a little bit dangerous and not the most. And when a planet is Gandanta, it is weak and gives bad effects. So this time, this retrograde Mercury will be more specific. Just to mention that according to Vedic astrology, this is a Vedic astrology channel, which is different from the Western astrology. Vedic astrology is 23-24 degrees backwards compared to Western astrology. So if you don't know anything about Vedic astrology, you can check my YouTube channels or you can check my books here behind me and learn more about Vedic astrology. You should know your Vedic astrological chart and then listen to this video, because Astrology Coaching by Anatoly is based on Vedic astrology. So according to Vedic astrology, Mercury will be retrograde mainly in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius and a little bit in Scorpio. From 13th of December, Mercury will go retrograde. From 26 December till 29 December, Mercury will be Gandanta. I'll explain in a bit what is Gandanta. From 28th December, Mercury will be in Scorpio. 28th till 1st of January, Mercury will be retrograde, and on 1st of January 2024 it will go direct. And then on 5th of January till 8th of January, Mercury will be Gandanta again. So what is Gandanta? Gandanta is a state where planet is in the last degree of a water zodiac sign or the first degree of a fire zodiac sign. For example, from 29th degree till 30th degree of water sign, or from 0 degree till 1 degree fire sign. When a planet is transiting, or it's based or placed in this field, region, yes, this part of the zodiac sign, we say that the planet is Gandanta. When a planet is Gandanta, this planet have a bad effect. It is weak. We say it is weak, and it gives a lot of lessons and challenges and difficulties. Gandanta means not. And some astrologers connect this state, Gandanta state, with drowning. And if you see, and if you have a lot of planets that in your natal chart that are Gandanta, you have to be very careful with water, because it is related with drowning. And sometimes if you have a lot of important planets that are Gandanta, this can make you drown, and you can die from drowning. So that's why we say that Gandanta is a little bit more specific state of the planet, and you have to be more careful, especially people who have Mercury Dasha or a Mercury Subdasha. This is the planetary period in Vedic astrology. They have to be really careful when Mercury is Gandanta. They can have some problems. They can have, they may not feel very well. So you have to take care of your health and be careful what are you doing and what is happening with you. So from 26th of December till 29th of December, Mercury will be Gandanta, and from 5th of January till 8th of January, direct Mercury will be Gandanta. So especially during this time, you have to be more careful. That's why I want to say this. And now, retrograde Mercury is not something that it's a very frequent event in the sky, so you don't have to worry. Mercury retrograde is associated with chaos and disturbances in communication, in all communicational channels. It is associated with communication, with disturbances in communication with people, in all kind of communicational devices, in business and business profits, in traveling, of course, in all kind of information. So you have to be careful what if you have to sign a contract, you have to be careful what are you signing. It is associated with people that comes back from the past, because when a planet is retrograde, it goes backwards, it goes inside, you know. And Mercury is the planet of communication, the planet of information, data, education, traveling, business, any type of communication between people. With Mercury is related with your cousins in some way, with your the people you are communicating in a more general way, of course. So you have to be careful in this field. Sagittarius, this is the sign where Mercury will be retrograde on 13th of December, is the sign of religion, philosophy, traveling, different cultures, optimism, expansion. Scorpio is the other sign where Mercury will be retrograde. It is the sign of death and rebirth, with sex, the sign of sex and charisma, everything that is hidden, underworld, mafia, other people's money, occult, religion, not philosophy is the Sagittarius, and occult and mysticism and psychology is the Scorpio. Manipulation, scandals. So this Mercury will be really more, retrograde Mercury will be really more specific, and it will be it can be a little bit more challenging, especially if you have if you are in the dasha or the sub dasha of Mercury, because probably you know, if you follow this channel, that everything depends on your natal chart and your planetary dasha. Your planetary dasha is the factor that determines what will happen in your life and how you're going to feel the effect of the transiting planets. Okay, so if you want to know more, of course, or if you want a consultation, you can check my website www.astrology-coaching.com and see the consultation options there. So now we are going to discuss for each ascendant and for each moon sign where will be Mercury retrograde and what things you can expect. But you don't have to worry a lot, because Mercury is a very frequent event. It happens 3 or 4 times per year, so you already know more. You know really a lot about Mercury the retrograde movement of Mercury. But however, this time Mercury will be Gandanta, and you have to be a little bit more careful, especially because, you know, the holidays are coming. You probably have to travel, you have to communicate with relatives, which can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Okay, so now for all ascendant and moon signs in Aries. Aries is the first zodiac sign that we're going to discuss. Mercury will be retrograde in your 9th house and a little bit in your 8th house. The first is Sagittarius, which is your 9th house, and Scorpio, which is your 8th house. So you can expect some kind of chaos, some kind of disturbances in the communication in your 9th house. Be careful how you communicate with your father. If you have to travel, you have to prepare everything before 13th of December, for sure. If you have exams or some kind of educational things, you have to be careful and you have to pay attention to that. And of course, when Mercury goes in your Scorpio, in your zodiac, in the Scorpio house, in your 8th house, you have to be careful how if you use other people's money, if you communicate with your in-laws, relatives. Mercury is Scorpio is associated with scandals, and 8th house is associated with scandals and accidents. So you have to be careful not to create scandals, and especially where Mercury is Gandanta, when it's drawn in your 8th house, you have to be more careful, because 8th house is death and rebirth and accidents. Taurus ascendant and Taurus moon zodiac sign, Mercury will be retrograde mainly in your 8th house and a little bit in your 7th house. As I told in the previous ascendant, 8th house is associated with death and rebirth, accidents, scandals, in-laws, relative of your husband or spouse, wife. So you have to be careful how you communicate with them. Then when Mercury goes in your Scorpio, this will affect your 7th house. 7th house is associated with your spouse and your partner and your business partners. So if you have to be careful in these fields, what you are signing, how you communicate with your partner, with your spouse, these things can, Mercury retrograde can affect this type of communication. For all Gemini ascendant and Gemini moon sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your 7th house and a little bit in your 8th house. 7th house is the house of your spouse, as I said. The house of your partner and partnership and business partnership. You have to be careful how you communicate with your partner. If people from the past can appear in this period, but you have to be a little bit careful not to start a new relationship. If you're single, of course, not to start a new relationship, because while you don't have to start a new relationship during retrograde movement of the planet. When Mercury goes direct, okay, you can start, but before that it's not a good period. And in the 6th house, where your Scorpio house is, Mercury will go there on 28th of December retrograde. So you have to be careful how you communicate. You have to be careful to take care of your health a little bit too, and what you are saying, how not to create conflicts and everything. I said health because your Mercury rules your ascendant. For all people who are Cancer ascendant and Cancer moon zodiac sign, Mercury retrograde will be in your 6th house, and at the end it will go in your 5th house. 6th house is your Sagittarius house. 6th house is associated with health, with routine life, with your daily life, with conflicts, enemies, with your co-workers, colleagues. So you have to be careful how you work, what you are saying, not to create scandals and to create new enemies. And when Mercury goes with your 5th house, you have to, in your 5th house, you have to be careful how you communicate with your in your love affairs, in your dating life, and or with your children. It is not the best period to start new investments or new investments in speculative business during this period. Okay. For Leo ascendant and Leo moon sign, retrograde Mercury will be in your 5th house, the house of love, romance, dating, children, investments, government, kings, rituals, fun, sports, art. There will be retrograde Mercury, and then a little bit in your 4th house, the house of mother and home. So you have to be careful how you speak with your children. You have to be careful how you speak with the people you are dating. Not the best period for new investments in the speculative business. If you go to have fun, you have to be careful. People from the past can appear into your life, people who you dated before. In the 4th house, the 4th house is associated with mother, homeland, home, so you don't, especially when Mercury is Gandanta and it is in Scorpio part, it is not good time to buy devices, for your home. If you want to travel, you have to check whether you lock the house, you stop the electricity or the water, I don't know what you're doing. Or you have to be careful whether your car or is okay. I mean, if you want to travel, check your car, not because there can be some problems with car and any type of devices or objects that are related with communication or traveling. For all people who are ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo, Mercury retrograde will be mainly in your 4th house and a little bit in the 3rd house. 4th house is the house of the mother and home and homeland. You have to be careful with your house. Don't buy new devices. As I said in the previous ascendant, don't buy new things for your house. No, it's not the best time for new car. If you're going to travel, you have to check the car, whether it is in good condition. For sure, if you are traveling, check the house, whether you walk the house, you stop the water and everything, because Mercury Gandanta can cause drowning or floods in some way. And in the third house, when Mercury goes in the third house, you have to be careful with your siblings, with your cousins, how you communicate. If you have business there, this can reflect on your profit too. For all people who have Libra ascendant or Libra moon sign, retrograde Mercury will be in your in your third house, mainly, and a little bit in your second house. The third house is the house of traveling, the house of art, the house of communication, the house of siblings, cousins, neighbors. So you have to be careful in these fields. If you want to travel, you have to prepare before 13th of December. If you have your own business, especially if it's associated with communication, you have to be really careful what you are saying, what you are doing, the information, the data, how you communicate with your siblings, with your cousins, with your neighbors. Be careful in this field. Prepare the traveling before 13th of December, and then Mercury on 28th of December will go retrograde in Scorpio, passing through Gandanta point. You have to be careful where you spend your money and how you speak with your family. This is important. For all people who are Scorpio ascendant, Mercury retrograde will be mainly retrograde in your second house and a little bit over your ascendant, your first house. You have to be careful what you are saying, how you are saying, what you are eating, what you are doing with your mouth, especially the things that are going outside your mouth. So many people, when they have retrograde Mercury in the second house, they say things without thinking. So you have to think what you are saying. You have to think how you spend your money. You have to think how you communicate with your family, how you spend your resources. This is important. When Mercury goes retrograde over your ascendant in Scorpio, be careful, because there will be a Gandanta point, especially if you're in the dash of Mercury. And don't make big decisions for your life during retrograde Mercury, especially over your ascendant. First, you need some time to think over the things that you, the decisions that you have to make, and then after when Mercury goes direct, then you can take these decisions. For all people who have Sagittarius ascendant and Sagittarius moon sign, retrograde Mercury will be over your ascendant and a little bit in your 12th house. So as I said, for the Scorpio ascendant, retrograde Mercury over the ascendant means that you have to be very, you have to think, if there are very important decisions that you have to take, it is not the best time. You can think over them, you can discuss them, but do not take the final decision now when Mercury is retrograde over your ascendant. Be careful when Mercury is Gandanta, especially if you're in the dasha of Mercury or the sub-dasha of Mercury, because Gandanta point will be between your first house and between your 12th house. First house is you, your body, and 12th house is associated with hospitals, with dark places. It's a little bit Dushtana house, so be careful about that. If you want to travel, you have to prepare everything before 13th of December, because 12th house is associated with traveling too. And Mercury will be retrograde over there. Maybe you can miss a flight, maybe you can do some, or there can be problems with the flights and everything, okay? For all people who have Capricorn ascendant and moon, Mercury retrograde will be in your 12th house and a little bit in your 11th house. 12th house is associated with different cultures, traveling, foreigners, so you have to be careful in these fields, especially if you have to catch flights. Be careful not to miss the flights. There can be some problems with the traveling. Retrograde Mercury in the 12th house is associated with hospitals, expenditure, losses, with dark places, so you have to be careful in these fields. 11th house associated with professional circles, incomes, dreams, goals, fulfilling your goals. So you have to be careful. It's not the best time to change your job or to start new businesses that you can get new incomes. It's better to wait a little bit and then start a new sources of income or fulfilling your dreams. Be careful how you communicate with your professional circles, and be careful how you communicate. If you are part of big organizations, be careful how you communicate there. For all people who have Aquarius ascendant and Aquarius moon sign, retrograde Mercury will be mainly in your 11th house and a little bit in your 10th house. 11th house, as I said before, is the house of your income, dreams, goals, professional circles, big organizations, fame. So you have to be careful in these fields. Not the best time to start new sources of income. Not the best. Be careful how you communicate with the people who work with you, or the people who are part of your organization, who are part of your professional circles, with your siblings too, because 11th house is associated with older siblings too. When Mercury goes in your 10th house, you have to be careful with your work and your management, how you communicate with your team leaders, management, CEOs, and so on. So the retrograde Mercury can cause some communication disturbances there. For all people who are Pisces ascendant, retrograde Mercury will be in your 10th house, and it will go then in Scorpio, which is your 9th house. 10th house, as I said, this is the house of your management, of your bosses, CEOs, team leaders, fame, social status. So you have to be careful not to create problems with your bosses, especially during the holidays. Then it will go in your 9th house, which is associated with education, traveling, other people, different cultures and teachers and fathers. So you have to be careful if you want to travel. You have to prepare everything, and if you do not argue about your vision of life, your belief system, because this can create problems and conflicts with the people around you. Mercury and doesn't feel very happy in Sagittarius and Scorpio, because Sagittarius and Scorpio are enemy signs. They are the signs that are ruled by Jupiter and Mars and Mercury is not a friend of Jupiter and Mars, and this can create some issues because Mercury has totally different logic about life. Jupiter and Mars, they are friends, and they are totally different compared to Mercury. Okay, so this was the video. Of course, for all people who have Mercury Dasha and Sub-Dasha, be careful during the Gandanta period, which is between 26th of December, 29th of December, and 5th of January, 8th of January. And of course, be careful how you organize your traveling, how you communicate, and because especially during the holiday season there can be misfights, quarrels, arguments with relatives and the loved ones. Be careful how you communicate for sure. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful for you, and see you soon. Hello, and thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, you can subscribe to my channel Astrology Coaching by Anatoly, and you can check the other videos. I have really nice and interesting videos about Vedic astrology, houses, planets, zodiac signs, transits. I have videos about your personality, how to find more about your personality, how to find your mission of your life. So check the other videos in the channel. And of course, if you want a private consultation, if you want to know more about your personal natal chart, you can check the consultation options in my website www.astrology-coaching.com. Of course, you can check the links in the description of the video. You can find everything there. And if you want to learn more about Vedic astrology, I have one really nice online course for beginners, Vedic astrology for beginners, in the platform of Thinkific. This is an online course which is easy and simple, with easy words, easy explanation. There are PDF files with information, there are pre-recorded videos, and of course after every lesson there is a test. I'm a Virgo and I always put tests at the end, so I want to be sure that you have learned whatever the information there in this online pre-recorded video course for Vedic astrology for beginners. And of course you can check my books on Amazon. I have two books, Vedic astrology easy and simple, and Nakshatras in Vedic astrology easy and simple. These books are really great, they are really nice, and I think they will be very useful for you if you want to put the background knowledge for your Vedic astrology. So thank you for watching again, and see you soon.